recruited Jason knew how to use Zoom. This
I
Jason, not
know.
so
It was
much.
super.
Thank you.
Well, other wins. And
Have a buyer's consult this morning.
do you know,
From
are you
a.
sure?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you sure?
Yes.
It was this morning, this afternoon. Just
This morning at 10.
okay.
That's
You're gonna get a
like
new buyer today at 10.
I had a nice phone conversation yesterday with a potential buyer that I met at an open house a while ago, and he was a neighbor just stopping by. We had a great conversation, and he was very, one of those people like, I'm looking like a year out, maybe, but he has very specific criteria of what he wants if he's willing to move. So the search for him doesn't show up a lot of stuff, but something came up yesterday, and so I reached out to him, and it was nice because I was like, he's probably going to think I'm bugging him, but he was super fun to engage with and happy and appreciating that I was keeping an eye open for him, and so it was a good reminder. And he's got an amazing budget, so.
There we go.
He does buy, does he need to sell his place? Did you ask him about that?
No, no, he doesn't. He said he'd probably keep it and rent it, or just keep it for family. And yeah, so he's not in a hurry. He's trying to get his mom over from another country, who has a career, but he'd like to have an in-law suite or a guest house, and a bunch of other criteria. But um, you know, you, when someone's not in a hurry, sometimes for me, I feel like it was just a nice conversation and they sort of fall off, um, even if I keep poking. But he seemed to be happy to re-engage. So
Good. It's gonna come out of nowhere, guys. You got to follow up. Things happen. Like yesterday, I was sitting with Sarah. She put in the chat right now. She would be sharing this win, but she's got a sad baby, so she's mic off, camera off. But she's listening. She came in to do her sit down with me, start up the program. We got a phone call on a lead, and from phone call to offer submission, less than 60 minutes. Not bad. So she got to see live negotiations, live working with a buyer, live working with a listing agent, live working through the documents, and submitting an offer all in 60 minutes. I was like, something
great
happens
workshop,
that way. So
learning workshop with Dan.
it was a fun opportunity. It was a buyer on a piece of land that I had put under contract 30 some minutes before he called. He goes, I want to buy it. And I'm like, well, I apologize, but it got sold like 30 minutes ago. It was just under contract 30 minutes ago. He goes, what else you got? And I just happen to know the market in that area. Just so I was like, there's a few other ones. How about this one? He goes, I love it. You think they'll do X? So I call up the listing agent, start working my magics, get back on the phone with him, talk to him for a few more minutes. And he goes, you know what, Dan? I like it. Let's put an offer in. Okay. Out of state buyer buying some land, a little different than buying a house, but still, it's pretty fun that you get those opportunities. I tell you all the time, luck happens at the intersection of preparation and timing. The harder I work, the luckier I get. The more I prepare, the luckier I get. It's weird, don't you think?
Can I ask you, because I've never dealt with land, are most the people buying land because they plan on building it, or are they just holding it for investment, or is it
Both.
all of the above?
Yeah, both. I mean, I wanted to buy these lots, but I wasn't going to pay what the seller wanted for them. So, and the seller even asked me, like, "Why do you buy them?" Okay, here's my price if I buy them. So, and he's like, "Okay, I'll see what the trustee says, and then like let's list them, and then if we don't sell them, then we'll sell them to you." Okay, so it's a win-win. I get paid for selling them, or I buy them at a greatly reduced amount. And I had no intention of building out there. It was just going to be just to hold it, and one day Diamond Bell decides to build. There was an old development back in the 70s that a family started developing huge subdivision, and one of the family members passed away, and the rest of the family didn't want to do it anymore. So it just kind of stopped. So pretty crazy stuff. All right, it's Thursday. What conversations, topics, objections, situations, questions do you want to work on? I feel like I've dominated the last 3 days of conversation a little too heavy. I want you to. This is your time.
I have a land deal that I'm working on right now.
Great.
And it's been a couple of weeks because the listing agent is so slow. The first week that I submitted the offer, he didn't get back to me, didn't get back to me, then let me know like 4 days later that he had been out of town. And there's a property in between this property that we wrote the offer on and the road. So we need to talk to the other owner to see if there's an easement. And the listing agent had told me previously that he had talked to that neighbor and, discussed with him the easement issue and asked if he would be open to that if he found a buyer. And he indicated that he would. And now it's been another 2 weeks and he hasn't given me his contact information. I've looked up online trying to find the owner's name and haven't been able to find that because it's just land. Like there's no address. It's
Have
just
you reached out to your title people and have them help you find it?
okay. Well, that's why I'm bringing it up here. What can I do next?
Title.
Yeah,
Okay.
reach out to the title people and kind of find out, hey, can you tell me who the owner of this place is? And then you can use services like Skip Tracer, Fast People Search, Forewarn, all these, and look them up. See if you can't get a hold of them.
Okay.
Honestly, don't even I'm dealing with the same thing. And I did reach out to title, honestly didn't get much help from them, but if you go on the MLS and go on to the CRS data and look at the map plots, you could just click on it and it'll give you the owner, and you could do what Dan said is skip trace them and then
Okay.
just call them directly.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to go through the tax record.
Yeah, you have to go on the MLS and do the CRS data. I honestly, it's the first time I used it, the MLS tax suite. And then
Okay.
you just click on the lots and it will give you the owner's name. And then you just copy and paste that into True People Search. And then try to match it to the same address to make sure it's the same person. And then just call them a million times until they answer. If you
Okay.
can't knock on their door. Because you could find their address on that too.
Yeah, I have looked them up there. I didn't realize you could click on it and get their name and everything. That's where I was stuck.
Sure.
Okay, great. Thanks, you guys.
That's what I did. I think, I don't know. My specific situation I was dealing with was really tricky. So like title wasn't able to do much for me other than, get the same exact info.
Y'all's title people suck. Mine are pretty great.
I
They've
haven't
gotten
found,
to be they've got to be people's favorite colors before. I mean, they're pretty investigative.
yeah, I need to continue my search. I haven't found.
It's also the title company that
I was
my
gonna
market
say,
center owns. So
continue your search with a title company.
Yeah.
Find a better title company. We got lucky. Our title company, we have one that our market center owns a part of, so we've got really good relationship with them and the owners, and they do a lot for us. So it's all about that. But Gracie is 100% correct. There are resources out there for realtors like the MLS Tax Suite. All of us have it. Tucson, California, Colorado, New Mexico. I don't care. It's the MLS Tax Suite, and all you have to do is put in. So I'll show you. All you got to do is you'll log in to it's usually your MLS gateway and it's got a CRS data, or you go directly to the MLS tax suite powered by CRS. You put in the county and you put in the address, the owner's name, whatever parcel IDs, whatever information you have, and you can pull up a ton of information on the house. So
It's funny because I'm actually doing that as you guys are talking about it.
oh, so Gracie's paying attention. We can tell. Look at her.
Well, I was already doing it. That's why it's funny.
I'm making my kids lunch.
I want lunch.
Yesterday, my battery went out and you had to run to the bus stop. But today's a better day. I got a new battery.
So good.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, let me answer in the chat real quick. Rachel, you're asking me who my title company is. Won't work for you because it's a Pima-based title company, so it won't be so great for San Diego market or LA market. So, what you got, Fabi?
So I'm dealing with a buyer right now who he's very cautious, like very cautious. We're dealing with a multiple offer situation, so timing is kind of pressing. And just like the type of person that I am, I never like to push people or like, have people make quicker decisions. But with this type of a client and this type of personality, like, and you have multiple offers and timing is of the essence. Like, how do you guys approach someone that's like extra cautious, like sign quickly, da, 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 da. Like, what is your guys' approach to that?
Jim?
So in my consultation, we go through the wants and the needs,
Mm-hmm.
and then we put a numbers base on the wants and the needs, 1 through 10 or whatever. And then we see
Mm-hmm.
a property that we want to write an offer on. Where does it land on your wants and needs list? Is it a 9? Is it a 10? Whatever. And then, hey, Fabi, I know we have this property that we looked at. We submitted an offer. They're talking counter offers. You mentioned that this property was a 9, which, seems really high up there on your scale. Time is of the essence when it comes to contracts. Uh, you can ask them, how would you like me to proceed in staying in constant contact with you to make sure I get your offer accepted and we get this 9 closed for you?
Mm-hmm. Okay. When I had the showings, we had like 7 of them. And yeah, this was one of their top ones. And I asked them every single time we finished, like, what would you rate this between 1 to 10? And when we got to that one, it was of like their top priority. So I said I was going to move quickly, but there we had previously fell under contract on a previous home because we found out there's death on the property. So they just feel very like cautious about the entire process of this new one. Like, what if there's something that's not disclosed? And I talked about the seller disclosure. What if can we move the furniture away from the walls in case there's something that we don't see? Can the inspector move the carpets? Like that's the conversations that I'm having with them. So with all of that, I feel like it slows down just the response time for them to give me back like signatures and stuff like that. So I just wanted to see how. So that was a good point, Jim. But I just
Well,
wanted to see
and
how you guys.
leverage the buyer advisory,
Mhm.
emphasize to them, and recognize that. Say, hey, look, I feel that due to our last couple transactions that you're overly cautious, which is great. But your job is to fall in love with the home. My job is to find the problems. It's what you hired me to do.
Like that. Okay.
But then go through the buyer advisory and share with them what the material facts and disclosures are, what they mean. There's no real, I should say, there's no like definition, that the inspector's not going to move furniture. The inspector's not going to tear sheetrock off the wall. They're going to look for common stuff that leads to other stuff. And if they find stuff that leads to other stuff, again, like Dan said, be
We
the
know.
source. They're going to ask, have this inspected by a qualified professional that can look through the walls or, whatever needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Okay.
you're dealing with is a high S, someone who's very steady. They don't like making quick decisions. They like time to think about it because it has to feel right. So they're going to ask a ton of questions because it leads to the potential of, am I making a bad decision? So you
Mm-hmm.
come at them way early in the process, during your consultation or before even showing houses, or maybe right after they lost an offer because they weren't fast enough. You can tell them, I know that you like to take your time making decisions, and I want you to feel comfortable doing so. In this market, we're seeing tons of great houses go real fast because the good ones go quick. And I want you guys to be in an advantage position there. So why don't we talk about some of the opportunities that'll come up and how we're going to handle those now so that when we are in a situation like that, I don't want you to feel rushed and I don't want you to second guess the decision you're making, right? Another thing to do is sit them down and have a conversation around their absolute non-negotiables. right? What are your absolute non-negotiables? The 80%. Then what are some of the things you're willing to be flexible on? Create a checklist you can go over, like something tangible. When you go and showing
Mhm.
houses, you can check some boxes off. That way you can go over the checklist together. And what that does, it also greatly reduces the second guessing later on.
Okay.
So, and then another thing is you can use social proofing because a lot of times when you're dealing with a high S, someone who's got steadfast and they're nervous, is you use social proofing by saying, well, other buyers in this price range have done X, Y, and Z. Other clients of mine who are similar to yours have done X, Y, and Z. And what that does is it creates patterns. And people of that type tend to go with the flow. Anyone know a high S? Someone who doesn't like to rock the boat? Am I wrong? No, they like to go with the flow. They don't like to make people sad. And these are the type of people that will just kind of slowly ghost you if you don't give them information correctly or if you push them because they don't want to make you feel bad about not working with them. And they don't want to hurt
Mhm.
your feelings by saying, "Well, we don't want to buy that house." But
Mhm.
tell them up front, it's okay. If you don't like it, totally okay. This is about you guys. Slow it down. Slow the
And
pitch.
assure them too, this is just getting a seat at the table, getting our offer accepted. We'll do our due diligence. We're do inspections. We'll do inspections on inspections on inspections, as many as you want to do within our allotted amount of time. And some of the things we'll find on the inspection are normal, use of a home. Some of these things can be repaired. Some of these things can't be repaired, and we'll make the decision based off that. That's the purpose of our contingencies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for some of us on the call that to push those type of individuals, don't be Dan. Don't be like, you've got to decide now where you're going to lose it because that is going to ice them up. They're going to stop listening. You got to change it to something more along the lines. I know you like to make your decisions with a lot of thought, or I know that you like to take your time, and I respect that. But in this case, we don't have all the time in the world. So let's focus on whether this house meets what you're looking for. Does it check all the boxes we have on our checklist? And if it does, let's make sure that we don't regret not taking action.
If we
Let's
find something we don't like in the inspection process, we can deal with it then.
Yeah. And then once
Yeah.
once you're under contract, the beautiful thing is, like you said, you got the inspection process, you got your due diligence, you have all the contingencies, but you want to reinforce their decisions. You know what? You guys it's a great decision. I love that you guys got this house. I think it's gonna be great for your family. It's exactly right based on what you and I talked about.
Okay.
Mike,
Fabi said
and-
something. Oh, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
so from what you're saying on that, Dan, and where I'm getting out of it is somebody like that, also like me, is that Dan talked about feelings a lot, and you
Mhm.
mentioned their feelings. So talk to them about, I understand how you feel about this,
Mhm.
about their feelings.
Even even with the offer time kind of looming, I let them know. I said, take your evening to think about it. And I think that helped them a lot. Like I could hear them like, oh, we want to think about it. I was like, take your time to think about it instead of pushing them to like sign tonight. So I totally hear you guys with this type of personality. Like he's totally a high S and his wife is too. So
You got to be able to identify the I mean, DISE oversimplifies the majority of the public in their personality. There's much more layers than just that. But if you can understand the different pillars, because people fall into one of the four, sometimes they fall into two or three of the four and over. Like I'm an ID or a DI, depending on what day it is, because I want shit here and now, but I also like to be part of the party sometimes. Unless I'm socially burned out, then don't talk to me, leave me the F alone. The other day, Mike, he was talking about the gentleman he met up the street from walking his dog. He didn't share this fact with you, but he did with me on the phone. The guy says, I don't like to be rushed. Realtors just like to push to get their commissions. Based on that sentence alone, what do we think this gentleman's major pillar is?
mm,
Yes.
yes.
Probably an S. It's got a little bit of S there. Especially if he's out there every day with his dog waving at people. That's I hear the everyday thing. Okay. DISC. SC.
I put it in the chat.
So you got to understand them and having. I love this conversation. I think we need more on this topic is how to deal with the different types of personality complexes so that you can work through how to handle the situation so that the client feels serviced and not pushed, not rushed. Because if we push people and we rush people in the wrong term, now it's, oh, you just want to get paid. Once it's stigmatized that way, it's very hard for you to come back from, no, 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 I'm not just trying to get paid. I'm trying to make sure you get taken care of. And so, as a high D or a high I, we talk real fast. We move real fast. So we can push an S into discomfort real fast. I wish Mara was on the call because Mara is an S. You guys know Mara, how she talks. It's slower. It's very much so compassion and emotion and feeling. And I love that. I have learned so much being partnered with Mara the last 5 years about how to handle situations that are completely opposite of my perfect personality. So if I had the disc profile, I'll be able to show you that. So Anthony's got a thought. His finger's cramping with how much he's holding it up right now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show my verbiage for that at the buyer's consultation. I just say the way the Real Connection operates their team, it doesn't matter if it's the first time we go out or the 10th time we go out. We're not gonna sleep in it. Or I don't remember exactly how I say, but if this is you're gonna sleep in it, not us. Now, don't be surprised if it is the very first time we go out because we've done so much on the front end to make sure we find the right properties for you. Now, when we find that right property, then the Marine in me comes out. Now, obviously, you guys are going to say something different, but the Marine in me comes out because we got to make sure that if you really love this house, that we have the opportunity to get it for you.
Love it.
This is a great conversation today. I think we're going to talk on one disc profile per day if we can, or we'll do it just per week. But the S, if we talk about the S, we know is more steadfast, slow, don't rock the boat. Make sure everybody's emotions are taken care of. They're usually the ones that are concerned about the sellers as well. Oh, I just want to make sure that this is a fair offer. You'll hear that a lot. I want to make sure it feels right. They're very supportive. They like to maintain stability, right? These are the ones that are going to take a long time to decide to make a move because they don't want to make a move. You're going to have a long runway to a decision and a long runway in negotiation because they enjoy the stability, but they also like collaboration. So ask them their thoughts. Hey, what do you think? Who else is going to be helping you make this decision? Let's bring them involved. You can get blindsided by an S real fast because you did not know the third baseman. You did not know the person that's over here helping them make a decision that's a very big part of their life that you had no idea. It might be their cousin, their aunt, their brother, the neighbor. It could be their old boss. You don't know. It's somebody that they've connected to and they love that collaboration. So bring them in. Say, hey, who else are you talking about this decision with? Let's bring them into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You can neutralize adversaries in those situations by just asking, hey, who else? So they're motivated by stable environments, so they like consistency. You'll probably show them houses at the same time a day. Like they like to see it before the sun goes down because they want to see the light. They want to see it in the house. They don't want to use flashlights or house lights.
Yeah,
Right?
to the T. I went back the second time to see it when the sun was going down.
So they're very sincere in their appreciation. These are the people that give you hugs. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, thank you so much. You've done so much for us. This is amazing.
Reviews.
Literally
Right.
describing my client.
I'm saying it's not because I've been in this for a long time, it's I've studied the disc profiles.
Do you find that you attract them? Because I feel like since I'm a D, I attract all the S's. And because I talked to Jenny about that, because she says because I take care of them in a way, I guess. And
Then
I
you
am
still avoid
struggling a little bit with it because I don't know how to.
Here's this, Joanne. If
Uh-huh.
S's like stable environments
Uh-huh.
and D's like to control everything,
Oh, yeah.
right? You see the parallel.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense why an S would be attracted to a D because I get in partnership with the people that are changing and directing and controlling.
Yeah.
We also, as D's, hate that because it's like, bro, it's not that serious. Make a decision. Like, I just don't know what I want to eat to lunch. No, I knew what I want for lunch 3 weeks ago. Let's go right now. But that's why you'll see that is because our polar opposites. Like I said, you know the disc is DISC. So in that fashion where D and S's are complete opposite. Mikey knew I want sushi. That's what I want for lunch, sushi. Or wings. It's weird. Sushi or wings. D and S's are pretty much opposites. Right? Priorities getting things immediately done. Priorities getting support. Buffalo sushi. That sounds gross as shit.
No, that sounds amazing.
I hate buffalo sauce. I do not like
I hate
Tabasco.
buffalo sauce. Ugh.
So this is the one that I'm gonna see if I can't pull it up for you guys a little bit easier.
Somebody asked what disc meant.
Disc.
I put the whole description in the chat.
Oh, you did?
The test, the breakdowns, how to
So
apply
disc
them.
is this is disc is it's actually your personality types. Dominant, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness. DISC. Now, this is a great way of looking at it. We're going to run long today, so if you guys have to bail out of here at 8:30, I get it, but we're going to run a little long so I can go over this. I would love for you to take the test that Jim had put in the chat to know your disc profile. The higher parts, the D and the I, are active, fast-paced, assertive, dynamic, and bold. Would you not classify somebody that's a high D or a high I as those 5 things? Active, right? We like to move. Fast-paced, right? I'm not a very slow talker. Assertive, probably one of my downfalls. I'm a little too assertive. Dynamic and bold, right? On the opposite side, this is your C's and S's. They're thoughtful, they're moderate, they're calm, they're methodical, they're careful. Anyone know a super high I that just likes to be the life of the party but couldn't tell you the details of anything to save their life? Now you see the
Me.
differences, right? The left side of things, right? This is the left side, the D's and the C's. These are analytical. These are driving. So questioning, logic focused, objective, skeptical, and challenging. The opposite would be the S's and the I's. Emotional, accepting, people focused. Now you guys know I like people, but outside of my people, do I care about them? No. I've got too much shit to do to worry about your feelings. However, if you're my people, I'm going to stop what I'm doing because I know it matters. Empathizing, receptive, agreeable. So D and I's, or sorry, D's and C's, challenging. I's and S's, agreeable. It's dangerous if you don't know that because you're going to get agreeable out of an S or an I. They're going to go along with the flow, but it may not be real. And D's and C's are going to challenge you on shit. Why did you come up with this CMA? Why did you pull this house? And they're going to feel challenging. You're like, this guy doesn't like me. No, he's a D. He does like you. You just have to serve up information in a way that matters to them. So take the test. If you've never done a disc profile on yourself, do so. There's a lot of great resources out there that will help you understand what your disc profile is, what the main strengths and weaknesses are, and how you can handle different communication styles with the different types of communication pillars. How someone's behavior is how their communication is. Someone like me, get to the story quickly. My partners know this very well. Sometimes I'm like, dude, land the plane. I don't have time for a 7-minute conversation when you called me for a question. And other times, my eye is flaring and I'll talk to you for 45 minutes and we'll get nothing done. Right, Mikey? We talk about racing, we talk about kids, we talk about javelinas, we talk about the neighbors, we talk about everything but the reason he called me for. And other times I'm like, all right, Mikey, what else you need? Dude, it's like been 30 seconds. All right, what else do you need? Okay, cool. Boom. So great conversation today, Fabi. Thank you for bringing it up. I think Gracie put something in the chat. She's got a question. Are we going back to 8 a.m. PT start time? Arizona never changed, honey doll. We 8 o'clock. We stay 8 o'clock. Y'all revolve around us. Not that we're the center of the
That's
universe,
fine. I
but our
like starting
government
at
was like,
7.
no daylight savings. That shit's crazy. When is daylight savings for you guys, just so I know?
I don't know.
You should probably figure that out.
My phone will tell me.
I
I'd
think
have
it's
to look
the
it up.
second week.
It's got to be coming up soon.
It's the second week of March, I think.
Okay. Happens every year. Still don't know.
Yeah, no, I hope it goes away. I really hope it goes away forever.
It's usually March and November.
So yes, but to your credit, Gracie, you are going to 8 o'clock.
The 9th. Gracie, the 9th. It'll be
On the
8 o'clock.
9th, March 9th.
Okay, perfect.
Right.
I like waking up early, but it's hard to get like a workout in and stuff with the schedule, but it's fine. I sacrificed that for this. This is more important.
I love that you show up, and I know it's helping you guys. So hey, come the 9th, you guys in California get an extra sleep. In Arizona,
There's a great invention called headphones for workouts. No excuses.
Well, I do Pilates, so it's a group class. I can't do that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to work out in the morning, but you guys do not want me to be running a call at the gym with headphones on. It'd be really, really weird. So, all right, we'll continue on our conversation tomorrow. If you guys have another client and you think about it's an S, kind of think about the things we thought about today, just the things we talked about, and how that parlays in the conversation you've had. Tomorrow we'll talk about another one. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Good.
Thanks,
Awesome,
Dan.
guys. Thanks for being part of the
Thank
day. We'll do an S high five. Is everyone